Have a seat. We're a little out of order, but that's okay. So I will go ahead and call the meeting of the regular and the Informational Downtown Development Authority Board of Directors meeting to order. And that is today, January 27th, 2025 at 12 p.m. We did already recite the Pledge of Allegiance, so we will go ahead and do our first order of business, which is going to be issuing the oath of office to the reappointed board members. And that is going to be Austin Hillier and David Ringler. If you would please rise. All right, I, Austin Hillier, and I, David Ringler, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the City Charter and the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Downtown Development Authority Board person to the best of my abilities.
I will. Last time I said I do was a lifelong sentence, so
It's got renewed for 4 more years. If you don't mind signing that and then passing it down this way. All right, and then the next order of business is going to be opening the floor for nominations for the office of chairperson. So at this time, I will open up the floor for nominations. Mr. Ringler, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, ma'am. Let's continue. It is.
Any others? Any other nominations? Okay. Hearing none, I'll go ahead and close the floor for nominations. Is there any discussion? I will go ahead and call the roll call vote for Mr. Ringler for chairperson. Ms. Powell? Ms. Ensley? Mr. Hillier? Mr. Byer?
Yes.
And Mr. Ringler? The motion carries. So congratulations. All right, and if you wouldn't mind, please rising one more time. Get you your oath of office for chair. I, David Ringler, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan and the City Charter of Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Downtown Development Authority Board Chairperson to the best of my abilities.
I will.
Sign.
This is my perfume.
Are you not doing the rest? You're not doing the other
We now have the ability to open the floor for nominations for vice chairperson.
for vice chairperson, please?
I nominate Laura Winslow.
That,
Would you accept? Thank you. Is there any other nominations? Hearing none and seeing none, I'll close the nomination process and ask for any discussion. Hearing none and seeing none, I will do a roll call vote. Mr. Byer,
Yes. Ms. Ensley.
Mr. Heiler,
Yep.
Ms. Ensley, Ms. Powell,
yes.
I can't vote for myself.
Yes.
You can't?
Wow,
I think so.
should. I don't know if you can or not.
I, Laura Ensley, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the City Charter and Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Downtown Development Authority Board Vice Chairperson to the best of my ability.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna need your, thank you.
Alrighty, with that, we will then open the meeting with a roll call vote. Ms. Arp just texted and said she is on the way. Say present.
Present.
Ms. Atchison. You, Mr. Byer.
Here.
Ms. Ensley.
Sorry, answering mine.
Ms. Gates.
I'll pay that.
Mr. Heiler.
Yep, I'm here.
Ms. Howland. We heard from Sally.
You want me to talk to her?
If you don't mind. Ms. Powell
Here.
and Mr. Engel present. So everybody's excused except at this point Sally, right? Public comments, those citizens wishing to speak on agenda or non-agenda items will be allowed a maximum of 4 minutes to address their concerns. This is the only time during the meeting the citizens will be allowed to address the DDA. Please state your name and address for the record if you would like.
Harry Hopkins, 90 North Main Street. 2024 was a great year. We got a lot of people in the downtown that hadn't been to our downtown before. 2017 or 2018, one of the two, I can't remember which it was, we started the initiative of the Cedar Springs Community Summer Celebration, where Cedar Springs into summer. We invited as many of the organizations of Cedar Springs together to work together to make a week long of events. And we created a Facebook page for anybody in Cedar Springs area that is having an event. They can piggyback that onto the page so it shares. Our avenue of trying to work with the community to get the community to come back together and work together, I think it's working. The Halloween Spooktacular is a great turnout. We've Red Flannel Festival have helped set up the roadblocks, the chamber. Well, I guess Laura counts as a DDA person as well, but the Christmas events, you know, we're getting some more new bodies helping with that. The New Year's event was great. We had 2 people from CBDT helping with that. We had 2 people from this board that helped. Ringler donated a tent for us to use. We had 2 people from Planning Commission. We had multiple people from the chamber. It's the boards are coming together. It's not everybody doing their own separate thing. I've got some ideas of some other events that a lot of the events that we put on in our community doesn't necessarily help the banks or the real estate agents or your financial advisors and stuff. And so in 1921, our community put on Chautauqua, or however you pronounce it, where they brought in, basically it's like a carnival except for their educational programs. I think we should have enough organizations in our community that can piggyback and support something like that without hiring out to do it. We have multiple financial advisors. We have multiple real estate agents. Our youth are not educated the same way we are, and it's not the fault of the teachers. It's just that's the way things are. So having a way of educating them how to buy your first home, what you really should be doing after you get out of school, where, you know, what's career trends, stuff like that. And so it'd be nice if this board could join in on initiative to that after more details are brought to you, but like the fact that we're heading in a positive place. As I mentioned, the city council, you see a lot of pot stirring keyboard warriors that's their only initiative to help the community is to stir the pot. They keep saying, well, the city of Cedar Springs should be ashamed of itself for this or for that. Or it's like, no, if you look back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and 20 years ago, where we were, I think Cedar Springs should be proud of where we're at. We've come a long ways. And you can tell it by the audiences at city council meetings and stuff like that. Typically, the only time they have a big turnout is when there's feuding and problems. And the last couple of council meetings I've been to, there's very few people in the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Perry.
Thank you, Perry. Big part of it is citizens like yourself, so appreciate all you do. All right, anybody else?
I do. I have a question, or I have a statement. I don't know if I should be upstanding or not, but I'm not. I'm Bernie from Vanderhyde Ford, and the question, I've been questioned by 2 or 3 different people about this. Why get straight to snow on the sidewalks? Well, I know that Lori Gates got a letter she says she got a letter from the city about plowing her sidewalks. She wasn't doing it, but then also we were doing it for her, she thought. Now, is there some communication or what am I missing? I don't know and I apologize. I should know. What, am I missing something?
I'm sorry.
Referred.
Oh.
About, and now,
between my Public Works Department and Deb DeGroot, the code enforcer. It is clear now. The DDA is clearing the sidewalks from 17 Mile all the way to 18 Mile. That is the DDA district.
Okay. Then it was just a lack of communication somehow. Okay, my screw up for asking. Thank you very much. Okay. Taken care, well, it's taken care of. But
Had snow late last week. Our machine was broken. It's fixed now, so hopefully the rest of the winter will be good to go.
say, make up, Laura, you know, are you supposed to do your sidewalks or the city do them for you?
I hire a company to do mine. So I know you do too.
So if we're gonna do them, this,
We do the rest of them.
right.
Yep,
okay.
doesn't Preferred do, or O'Dowd do your front too? Cause they do my front and Salter.
Well, they will, but obviously they wait for the major path. So I
I
mean,
understand.
we're out there doing the little walkways. I mean, the Perry specials, the get in and out, but.
Well, I see people doing there, you do, I saw you do it the other day, but I think there's lack of communication then to the, what's to be done. I really do, to this day I do. No.
So when I say Public Works will do it, we have 4 staff. So the roads come first. So if it's snowing and we're out plowing, you know, it just started snowing at 4 AM, my Public Works Department's gonna be on the street. So 6 AM, you probably need to be doing some kind of shoveling if you open shortly thereafter, you know.
That's reasonable. Even landscape companies, I mean, they're overwhelmed when it happens too. They get to it when they get to it. So you'd got to decide what needs to be done and when, so.
I've never seen 1 inch and 4 inches. Right. Okay, but we're doing.
With letters, I'll give her that.
I wonder if everybody on Main Street realizes that the city comes through at least one time.
That's what we should do. We should put a notice up or put it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know it, and the only reason why I knew it is because I talked to him. I was like, what are you doing?
Well, obviously, we'd switched from, we had been contracted with a service before this year, and then DPW took it over this year for us. So we're still funding it, but
Well, I enjoy watching him run around town in that thing. It's actually kind of humorous.
One
other public comments?
other comment. Well, I get the Bugle, okay, the paper, and there's chamber organizations got when they're meeting in there. We don't have one. Why not? Maybe it'd be nice if we put it in there. Or ask me to put it in there. I would do it or call Colonel or whatever it is and find out. And
Myself or the city manager can probably let him know. He'll do that, I'm sure.
what I'm talking about, I think some of us.
Let's read it.
Good. Okay.
Any other public comments? Thank you so much. Moving on then to any conflict of interest or ex parte communication we should be aware of. Good, hope that everyone had a chance to take a look at the agenda. With the exception of the highlighted names being switched to myself and Mr. Heiler, I think I would entertain a motion to approve. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. We will move on to our biannual information presentation with the esteemed city manager, Ms. Falcon.
Okay, I love pictures, so again, this year I did a board of the highlights of what the DDA funded in 2024. We have $20,000 towards the parking lot that was installed at 74 North Second Street. 2,300 is our annual contribution to keep the lights on down Main Street. Roughly 3,800 for our downtown concierge or something. She worked with the concert.
She did a nice job.
And then she also maintained all the flowers up and down Main Street in those beds on the corners. A facade grant for Ensley's facade, $3,280, and then $30,000 went towards the Heart of Cedar Springs new park downtown.
You should say 2,000 for the lights, not 20,000, so nobody gets wild about it.
2,300.
Okay, yeah. I thought you said 20,300. Okay. I misheard you.
That's roughly where a good portion of the DDA's money went.
Awesome.
Questions?
The Pocket Park, I think, has been awesome. People are using it. It's really cool.
Heritage Park.
I mean, if 20,000 for the lights, I got.
Right? Like we all do.
Is it a DDA option to put another dog waste bag disposal in the heart of Cedar Springs?
Good idea.
And I don't know if Morley Park has one now or not. We had two at one time. One's on the, is that the only one? There's one right on the, right by the staging area on the White Pine Trail. It's never has anything in it, I should call.
Oh.
And I don't know where that other one was. Did that go into the dog park?
There's one at the dog park.
Okay. So I don't think it'd hurt to have one at Morley Park
Hard too.
and one, maybe even two.
There's always dogs over
Yeah,
there.
I'm always picking up dog poop down there. So a suggestion.
Because I've seen it on the sidewalks right around my business. Yes. To clean it up myself.
On your side of the street or over there? Yeah, well,
You're
Doing
gonna be Grand Marshal if you keep cleaning it up. That's what-
Like, wow, when it's right in front of my doorway, I kind of need to do something about it.
when I had a business down here, people never cleaned it up.
No, I can't have it.
Go to- and go, I said, go out and pick it up, would you?
For the informational session?
I think we did a lot of really amazing things this year.
Absolutely.
Reminder too, that everybody should be aware of our retreat. What's our new? No, well, the survey, please do the survey if you haven't already, but then we have our brainstorming session on 6th, February 6th.
So something everybody should keep in mind when they're doing the survey, like I started it and I was like spending a lot of time on it. It took me almost 4 hours. So it took me a lot of time because I thought really clearly about everything and I went back and thank God I copy and pasted it all, but it. It's not- We had a lot of time.
Go out and turn it in.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Falcon. We'll move on to the consent agenda, which would include an approval of the minutes from the last meeting of November 18th, along with our financial report. Everything is contained in your packet. Could I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Consent agenda carries. We move on to unfinished business of the New Year's Eve event review.
We did have $5,000 in the budget for New Year's Eve. I asked Mr. Hopkins to come today and bring a budget of the New Year's Eve event and see what you choose to do with the contribution or. You have copies of this?
No, they do not.
Oh,
In the
Hand it over.
All right.
We're fortunate enough to keep it under $4,000 this year. A lot of things was donated between chamber board members. The crane was donated along with the firewood was donated by North Kent Well and Pump. Mike Gould, can never remember the names of his businesses. He's got 2 of them, Superior something or other. But they made the ball and donated it and they hauled it in on the truck again this year. Which the 2 of them alone, if we had to pay for them, would have exceeded what we spent already. The chamber bought 4 fire pits last year. And the rest of them was donated, and they were donated again this year. Tractor Supply donated some fire logs that worked great for starters. So most of the event was funded through contributions. And so we spent about $4,000. There's probably a couple of things that we haven't quite got the invoices in. We just did estimates on based what estimates we were given. And so for, if each board was to put $2,000 towards it, it was still a lot of people in our downtown. It started out slower than last year, but by the time the ball dropped, there's a lot of people around the ball. The stores that were open had people that hadn't been in before. I'm sure the restaurants had people in that hadn't been in before. I don't know, but. And for putting only $4,000 between, everything that was paid for, I think it was a good deal.
I think it's only growing from here. I mean, it's obviously gonna cost us more money as it continues to grow because we're gonna need to add some more things to do.
Well, the lights was a big conversation piece that people thought the lights on the trees was great. And they're like, well, do you know that this city and that city and this other city, they've got lights up and down the sides of the buildings. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to exceed more of a budget than we got. That's where it's like, well, if you got $20,000, we can spend it.
Think if a person wanted to decorate their own building and lights, that would be their expense.
That'd be something where if we had a way of going back to a sponsor grant. I know at one time the DDA, but nobody took advantage of it, had hey, we'll put $100 towards your lights or whatever. But if we was to propose themes and say, hey, if you're willing to do something like this, that we may contribute towards it.
I was wondering, I thought that the event went to Cherry Street, but it went all the way down to Ash Street.
Did it this year because we wasn't sure how many more people we'd have versus last year, but we're thinking this year just keep it to the 2 blocks, and if they pile up past the road, well,
Really down that way at all, but that would probably be adequate to go to Cherry Street. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, especially the dance contest and the music and all that stuff.
So cute when they do that.
It was a good
So
time.
cute.
I think though, somebody ought to keep a little better watch over Heritage Park. We had a group standing around the fire, drinking bottle beer, not from any of our businesses, and then smoking weed. So might be something for somebody to keep an eye on that.
I know I'd asked a couple of groups of people not to stand on that because one of the where they stand is already loose. I said, that's not designed to stand on.
Maybe we need a redesign on that. It was, I thought, just a little bit dangerous for some of the stuff they were doing.
Maybe we need to put, signs on it that say no standing.
Yeah, I don't think that would stop this bunch. I mean, they're courteous enough to step away from the fire when I wanted to get near it to warm up, but it was just kind of crude.
One thing, the social district though, under the liquor code, it has to come from a licensed establishment. I personally don't care as long as people are discreet, but if you have an open bar down there, somebody's gonna call and MLCC is gonna show up. And I think it's a city issue when that happens, that because the city authorizes.
So who do we get to stop them? Cause like me walking up and saying, hey man, you can't have those beers. They're gonna be like, yeah, whatever.
Or Perry?
Yeah, there's officers
Yeah.
there.
So contact an officer and they need to stop it, arrest them, haul them away, whatever they do.
Hopefully everybody can just be cool about it. And I think a lot of it is just lack of public awareness, that they think it's just an open thing when they, bring their cooler or whatever. But legally under that license, it has to come from a licensed establishment. It has to be in a labeled container.
Put some sort of a sandwich board out for like major events and like saying, hey, it's just like red flannel. You can't walk around with a beer bottle. Cause there's
Concerts at the Hearts in the summertime too. I know some people do it, and I mean, as long as it's discreet, it's, but If it gets to be where it's just people open with coolers, there's gonna end up being a problem. And I don't think any of us want what has been a really good thing to turn into a problem.
I can mention it to Sergeant Paulson too. Notes for next year, whoever's hired to patrol that, watch out for this.
We don't want it to grow into becoming a free-for-all that becomes an issue, so. Obviously, we all want to be responsible about.
Oh, they did.
Can you do that legally? I don't know.
Any questions for Perry?
So do you want to make a motion? Do we pay 4,000, 5,000? What? Wasn't budgeted. I wanted to know what their expenses were instead of just writing a blank check for 5,000.
That's what I would think. 2,000 each board should be fine.
And then for the DDA to make a contribution for half of the budget?
Support that.
I didn't make the motion. I'm entertaining a motion. Thank you.
I'll second it. Problem.
Wonderful event. I truly enjoyed it. This time I stayed awake.
You did?
I did. I was.
Half of the DDA's budgeted expense or half of the event budget?
Budget he presented, which was just under 4,000. So do you have the total? What that total? So
So about 2,000.
$3,952. So let's round it up to 4,000. Each board pays 2,000, chamber and DDA, right?
Because there's 3 of our invoices that haven't come in yet. They're just based on estimates. So it gives us,
Powell, would you mind revising your budget to be an even 2,000?
Yes.
Motion?
Motion to support the event with the $2,000 from the DDA budget. That's correct.
I'll second it.
Thank you. There's no further discussion then, as this is a financial consideration, we will do a roll call vote. Ms. Art,
Yes.
Mr. Byer,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Heiler,
Yes.
Ms. Powell,
Yeah.
Mr. Ringler votes yes. Thank you, Perry. Job well done.
More question. Somebody I heard say just while we were there that they have to make a new ball. Is that,
That.
maybe ask Jason Merlington. I don't know.
Didn't say anything about needing to make a new bulb. They may need to replace some of the lights because, you know, when you take your Christmas lights down, they work and you go to put them back up, only half of them work.
I'd ask.
Undertaking, hopefully not.
Moving on to the new business, we have domains, which is an annual thing for the DDA, the Heart of Cedar Springs. We have Heart of Cedar, Heart of CS, and Heart of Cedar Springs, all.coms that are renewed. I think they're $15 a year, something like that. They've been in my account because I've been doing them. So I would just as soon turn them over to the city and you guys, I think, have a domain, a manager for yours.
Ask, what's the purpose of hanging on to these names? Eventually, will we use them or we don't want somebody else to have them?
Discussion originally was to create an informational website, which again, that's up to whether we ever want to do that, but having a website for, activities, as a catch-all, a DDA, and make it a DDA website, either way, but it's never been done. So that's my question now. This has been, I think, the 3rd year that we've had them. I wanted to bring it up as a question. Do we want to retain these, turn them over to the city? Do we want to just let them expire? It's the will of the board. Doesn't matter, but to your point, we haven't done anything with them. I think right now they actually point to the Facebook page. So if somebody goes to one of those, it takes them right to the Facebook page.
It's a minimal cost, guys, from a marketing standpoint, from somebody that owns a lot of domains. I would keep them. If not to keep them, I'll keep them for you.
If you let them expire, you're gonna have smut on there, but
Yeah, somebody else is gonna grab them.
So our company that we use is NukeNet. And it's $19 per year per. So similar to what you paid, but
mine usually is 15. I did not look at what the renewal is, but like I said, to avoid doing this every year, we can just transfer them to you guys and you and I can work that out. They expire in 30 days, so they're gonna be up, midway through the month.
We want the DDA to pay for them, but the city manages them. We'll make that happen within 30 days. So Laura said yes.
Make a motion for that, or is it, you need one, because it's money?
I think the motion would be to accept the domains and then maintain them.
I'll make that motion.
Any further discussion?
Yes, should we put in there not to exceed 100 hours or something like that? I don't know. Asking.
Plus the domain is, so.
Thousands right away.
You stay pretty cheap. Yep. Unless somebody hijacks them. Yep. Okay, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Proposed budget for 25-26, and that is on page 14 of your packet.
Don't have a whole lot of detail in here yet. Just kind of some annual items. The only big ticket one in here is $10,000 towards the Heart of Cedar Springs, Michigan Natural Resource Trust Fund grant. Talk a little bit more about the budget first, and then I can switch over and do a little bit more about the grant. Do we want to wait till February 6th? I mean, that's next week. We have a February meeting where we could approve more items added if needed. March 20th is our budget workshop with City Council.
The meeting on the 6th, that's a big point of it, is to establish our priorities for the next, half decade or so, so.
Missing that you remember from previously, or
The event we just did, is that on there? New Year's Eve?
another 5,000 budget?
Yeah, we're gonna add a couple things, maybe, hopefully.
What did you guys think of Teresa last year, just having the concierge maintaining the flowers, watering them, and then kind of being our connection between the concerts on Wednesday night? She attended them, worked with the bands, unloading, loading, brought them their check.
My personal interaction with her was great.
And I had also heard, like Scott from the music place there, he said he would have to go down and clean up trash out of the amphitheater and, get it ready for the band. So I believe that she's probably doing that on a regular basis, and I appreciate that part especially, because it can get kind of icky up there.
I'll reach out to her.
She said last year she wanted to come back if she could, but do we have the DPW wages? Is that addition to the snow approval? We have something else that we're doing with them on the very top line?
The top line is wages, the second line is the equipment.
It's a good start. Any other commentary or discussion for now? Willingness until,
Just a little bit extra on the playground. Train themed play structure. So I put 2 pictures in your packet. Both proposals, both play structures from different companies are about $190,000. The budget is 175. That's why I put, if you would entertain to put a little bit more towards that. And I know these pictures are at least 2 years old, because we applied for this grant many years ago. We have, I just need to finalize a couple things, and Fishbeck, our engineers, we need to upload the whole project to DNR's website. They need to approve it before we go out for bids
In the center area where that pit's being built right now, or where is this going?
Between the amphitheater, the walk, kind of by the creek, not close to it, but in that vicinity.
I think that's going to be a great addition. I was a little worried it might take up too much room, but I don't think we have to worry about that now that we've been there and eyeballed the room we have. I was hoping we could get a little more electrical work around in that park for plugging in stuff instead of having to run extension cords all over, and that's kind of a mess.
Be play place.
Name on it somewhere for sure.
Yeah, then the other, there's $20,000 for parking, angled parking along Maple Street. And then, 310,000 for two unisex restrooms, a mechanical room, and then a small like concession room with a window that opens to a covered. We combined the restroom and pavilion into one building. So one roof line, picnic tables underneath the roof with the concession window at the back of that.
Is there any drawing of that?
Just like black and white. All, we're meeting this week to finalize it. If DNR approves it, then we can come out with colored prints and have, display boards and stuff.
Max out of the concession.
It's an option. I was told, that's always been a thing, like any club that has an event down there, if we want to hire somebody to have concessions open on Wednesday nights, we can do that. It's there, it's built. Any other events that we have in that area, the summer reading program, maybe. If you wanted food, it's a kitchen that's more appropriate to have food available.
EDA wouldn't be in charge of who did it or renting it out or cleaning it or anything like that. Who would be? So would we rent it out to, well, obviously not our nonprofits, but if somebody actually wanted to run a profit snack thing?
I'm just wondering how vetted that is, because I mean, you gotta have a food license, you've gotta have,
I'm not talking like
we go through to be able to serve food to the public, so.
bars, potato chips, soda, water. A popcorn machine is the biggest.
You think about like the cheerleading squad, like those moms, they volunteer and do concessions at different places. You probably could get the same thing if you reach out to Barenwald, right? And try to coordinate it, or maybe even CTA, maybe they have something they're trying to raise money for, because I can tell you that concession raises a lot of money for the kiddos for things. So I think it's an amazing idea.
Where are we gonna set those out bathrooms? Sorry. I
Be facing Maple.
the end of it, there'll be a one part of it, there will be the concession. Okay.
Infrastructure, it's in the,
Roof line the whole way.
cool.
Concession, and then a concrete slab with picnic tables for seating.
And year round.
So
Is, we kind of carbon copied the Heritage Park restroom, mechanical room, but it'll be bigger down there.
Are we gonna have to monitor it? I know that sometimes we have homeless that sleep in there, which is, I'm glad that they have someplace warm. Just let me be very clear. So I'm thrilled for that.
More security cameras.
Just as long as they don't damage anything. I mean, if they have to sleep in there, that's a good spot.
Our dealers are locked.
It'll be 24-hour, it'll be open, it'll be connected to the city water and sewer, so it can be open 24 hours, but it can be locked, just like Heritage Park if.
So are there any plans to put more electrical around in the park for?
There is some, Consumers Energy lighting along Maple. I don't know more in the park.
Yeah, because that's kind of what we were thinking we needed for when they bring in their bubble machines and blow up stuff. We've only got one electrical outlet in the park. And all the extension cords that have to run to decorate the lights and the trees. Be some plan for that.
But a lot of money if you start burying underground. It's gonna be underground, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
lots of money to have that done.
Now we have the hazard of what, 20, 25 extension cords down there?
There's a lot.
Yeah,
A whole tote full.
yeah. Something to think about, having a budget while we have a budget.
That could be
Really?
separate from this project.
Okay, be something to think about. We could look at some money somewhere to do that.
About themes on the 6th, so, yeah. Okay, any other discussion on the play structure? All right, we'll move on to correspondence. 2025 calendar is in your packet. I know I went and stuck it in my calendar because today's meeting snuck up on me too.
Yeah.
Any other correspondence? DDA Director's Report?
Please, please, please fill out the survey. Like we said, if you open it, it's an online survey. It's gonna time out on you. If you want to open it, print it, type your questions and cut and paste. That will make our session go much more smoothly if we have information ahead of time. The only other thing, I went to a Michigan Association of Planning meeting a couple Fridays ago, and they have a whole list of trainings, and there's one in here, DDAs and TIFs. It's 30 minutes. So I'm thinking maybe our March DDA meeting, we could do it at the same, right here during our meeting, a 30-minute presentation on DDAs and TIFs. We do have quite a few new DDA board members. Maybe they don't realize, what a TIF is and the purpose of DDAs, and I'm not that expert to inform everybody, so.
I think it's a good idea, yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna push our meeting times now, and we're pushing 3/4 of an hour here.
When you see DDA presentation, 30 minutes,
I will be gone. I will be gone. I'll be missing, I think, the people or the May meeting. I know one of those I'm gonna be gone, but.
I'll be missing the June meeting.
The April meeting.
Okay, anything else? Thank you so much. Trustee comments. I think we should start with the illustrious Mr. Byer.
Got none. I didn't want to, you asked about snow.
Is our-
I'm all set for today as well.
Thank you. Ms. Powell, our future Grand Marshal.
Chris and I, yes.
That's awesome that the one that they shared, that's really cool.
Oh, boy, we're gonna have so much fun, you guys. You just can't believe it. So anyway, just want to reiterate about the dog poop bags. I don't know if there's one in Morley. Like you said, you need one downtown. We had one downtown once, but unfortunately we put it on private property and they didn't like that. So if it's on our property, it's better. And at the heart, because there's a lot of mess down there sometimes. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Look forward to 2025.
Just excited about all the stuff we have coming up.
Thank you. I was also going to remind everyone on the survey, thank you, Ms. Falcon, for doing that. And I appreciate all of you participating in your input. I know in the time that I've been on the DDA, and Laura, you, and actually Rose too, I think, we've seen a lot of changes over the,
God, it's just amazing.
it's wonderful.
A lot.
With that, I will. 12:45. Slow your